Welcome to Character Corner. So I've been playing so much Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I'm not going to spoil any of it in this video, obviously, but I think all the FF7 hype has just kind of reminded me of how much I love that original game. It is my favourite game, I know that's basic, but when I was, I guess, 12, Advent Children came out, which is the movie sequel to the original game. And I remember watching that film and losing my mind, just being like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. One thing that I really remember from watching it was thinking, who's this Denzel character? Because I really felt like they were setting him up. He got so much screen time, and then they even did like an animated spin-off short about his life and about his parents getting killed. I don't know, I didn't watch it. But I do remember being like 12 and thinking, I see what's going on here, Square Enix. You're setting up a sequel for Final Fantasy VII and it's going to be Denzel. Denzel's time to shine. I remember drawing like fan art of Final Fantasy VII 2, and it was Denzel and Marlene as the main characters. And I remember really thinking that this was going to happen. I was convinced. Lo and behold, this never happened. I think I don't know why Denzel was in that film, but this episode of Character Corner, I thought, why don't I revisit that idea and pitch it to you in 2024? I'm not making this game, by the way. This is not a game that's going to get made. It's just a game that I really wanted to happen when I was 12. Now I don't think that this would have been a particularly good game, or a game that anybody wanted except for me, but it's a game that's fun to think about. So I don't really remember what the story was supposed to be of this sequel, but I do remember that it would be set well after Advent Children. So Denzel and Marlene would be kind of young adults. Denzel is 20, and the story takes place 13 years after Final Fantasy VII and 11 years after Advent Children. This is me kind of just sketching out what I think Denzel would look like as an adult. It's kind of tricky. So I was just figuring out different hairstyles. Like I kind of had this weird feathery hairstyle that was really similar to his original hair. And then these longer ones, which I thought maybe looked kind of cool. He is a dragoon, like he uses a spear, and that's just based off of the one or two screenshots where he is holding this metal pipe that's like, he's holding it like a dragoon. In Advent Children, Denzel was really, his parents got killed when the plate collapsed in Midgar. Then it cut to Advent Children and he's like 9 years old and he gets this disease. So he doesn't have a great time. So he's pretty miserable in Advent Children from what I remember. He's kind of dour, understandably, because he's like an orphan. But now that he's 20, I think maybe he should be having some more fun. So he's smiling. His original outfit in Advent Children, he has a lot of like layers. So he wears a lot of grey, because everyone in Advent Children wears a lot of grey. But he likes hoodies, cargo shorts, cargo trousers. So I kind of try to incorporate those into his design. And then the silhouette, I wanted him to look a bit dragoon-like, and dragoons usually have kind of a cloak that tapers down in that way. So that's kind of what this hoodie was inspired by. It's kind of a hoodie slash cloak, so with short sleeves. It's a bit of a weird garment, but I just kind of went with it. This was kind of a pipe inspired spear that's based off the one from the film. Marlene is another character, kind of an obvious choice for the female heroine of this game, this fictional game. Still living with Barrett, they live in Edge on the outskirts of Midgar, and she probably works in Seventh Heaven still with Tifa. I tried out a bunch of different hairstyles for her. She has a bob in the original game, and then in Advent Children she has this braid, so I was trying to do like some braided like kind of plaits and tried out some different bobs. Some of the bobs I just felt were maybe a bit too blunt and didn't really suit her like character. I don't know, because I kind of imagined her
kind of girl next door-ish, like kind of similar to Tifa. It was fun just coming up with different hairstyles. Oh yeah, so this is my sketch of what her outfit would look like. I kind of came up with this capelet. Both of her designs in the original game and in Advent Children, she has a bow. So in Final Fantasy VII, she's got this bow kind of like around her neck, and then in Advent Children, she's got a bow in her hair, kind of similar to Aerith. She really gives Aerith vibes in Advent Children, which I never noticed until I did some research for this video. But I decided to kind of veer away from that and give her this pointy, kind of transparent cape, and she has a gun. Yeah, the other idea that I came up with was like this body warmer kind of sleeveless jacket that's similar to Barrett's jacket. In my original idea, the one original character that I came up with for this sequel when I was 12 was a girl, mysterious girl character who was kind of like a girl version of Sephiroth. And that is as far as I got with that idea, I think. Trying to come up with like a female version of that character, it wasn't that interesting to me, so I decided to take it in a slightly different direction. So this is me sketching kind of different versions of what this character might look like. So this is Sophia, who is a mysterious girl that I think is maybe found in the ruins of Midgar and can transform into like a more monstrous form using her limit break, similar to Vincent in Final Fantasy VII. So this is different hairstyles. I knew that I wanted her to have white hair, or kind of greyish white hair, similar to Sephiroth, obviously. Honestly, she looks kind of too young here. This is kind of not how I was picturing the character. I did want her to be kind of contrasting to Marlene. I think that this character, Sophia, would be more of a love interest character for Denzel, whereas Marlene is more kind of a little sister, almost. I actually kind of wanted her to maybe be in her 20s instead of being like, here she kind of seems like a teenager. But yeah, I liked this design of her kind of bodysuit with these big chunky gloves and big chunky boots. I thought was a cool silhouette, and she's got like a big triangle of hair, which is normal shape to have. This is not a character that I came up with when I was 12. This is just a new character that I'm making up. I really like Final Fantasy VII's shock trooper designs because they are like these weird humans that have been pumped full of drugs, and they have these claws, they have this cyclops eye. They just have a really striking design, and I thought that maybe one of the characters could be a guy in his 30s who used to be a shock trooper for Shinra and now has kind of changed his ways and become cool. So this is Volaire. Honestly, I wanted his personality to be a bit more kind of cheeky, kind of like Balthier or something from Final Fantasy XII, where he's kind of like a sarcastic guy. He looks kind of serious here. He's got rollerblades because the enhanced shock troopers fight on these rollerblades, which I thought is really cool. So he's kind of like a sarcastic skater with giant claws. At this point, I hadn't really figured out this character. You can maybe tell, but it's fun to show the work of it. Hey! So basically, I drew all of them out. That was my first draft. And I liked them, but I wasn't super happy with any of them. I felt like Denzel looked a little bit too... And then Marlene wasn't very Marlene-y. And she looks kind of angry, I don't know. And then I felt like Sophia was too young and looks kind of like a baby. And then Volaire kind of looks like Ballister from Nimona for some reason. And that's not how I pictured him anyway, so I decided to change his design. So yeah, I just kind of drew them all again, starting with Denzel. This is me kind of going back to Denzel, and I think at this point I thought, okay, so there's a character, Volaire, who is like a skate guy. Maybe he is like Denzel's mentor, like skating mentor, and maybe Denzel is like a skater. When I started thinking of Denzel as a skater, then I feel like his design made a bit more sense to me, where he has this long skaterish hair and he's wearing kind of skate shoes and his keys are all in like a ring that's hanging from his belt. That feels kind of skatery. So, and
And he's got the long sleeves under short sleeves, which to me is prime skater culture. The hoodie is kind of sky blue with this orange and yellow lining, and then the rest of his outfit's pretty grey. I think his starting weapon is this wooden spear, which has like a copper tip. Yeah, and then to emphasize that he's a skater, I put like plasters on his legs and bruises and stuff. In this sequel, he was adopted by Tifa and lives above 7th heaven in Edge. This is his materia. So he starts off with an ice materia and a healing materia and a jump materia. And because he plays like a dragoon, so he can just jump from the beginning of the game. And then this is me drawing the abandoned Shinra building in the background. That's Denzel! For a while I was like, I need to give Marlene pigtails. And I was like, no, take the pigtails away. So I actually settled on a slightly longer bob that was like a bit more soft instead of like this kind of like short bob that was like very French looking. But speaking of French, I gave her a beret because I thought berets are cute. So she's got a little beret. For some reason, her earring, I just decided that that's a materia. It's a summon materia for the summon Sylph, which is like a kind of fairy. I just decided to like echo Marlene's original colored palette from the original game and make her kind of red and pink and yellow, like really warm colors. So that's what I've gone for her look. And then this background is the new 7th heaven that's in Edge. She has kind of interesting materia. So she's got, on her gun, she's got fire and dia, which is just like a light magic attack that reduces the target's defense. She's got deadly dodge, because I thought maybe she would be really acrobatic, kind of like lightning in Final Fantasy 13, like she can do flips. I just kind of imagine her flipping around and then shooting with this gun. She also has a skill called Snipe, where she can target different body parts of an enemy, like a creature or whatever, and wherever she targets with this skill, it'll give them a different status effect. That's based on a real ability as well from Final Fantasy Tactics. Sophia, I decided to age her up a bit and make her look a little bit older. So this is my kind of more severe version of Sophia, where she's looking a little bit angrier. She wields a knife and she maybe doesn't use materia, and she uses blue magic to learn enemy skills. Instead of her eyeballs being white, she's got kind of grayish blue eyeballs, just to make her seem a little bit more strange and mysterious. She's got to be mysterious. For the color of her outfit, I wanted it to be kind of like a wetsuit or kind of like a spacesuit. So she's got this kind of silvery bodysuit, and then the gloves and boots are kind of this strange clay. They're kind of like a strange ceramic material that has these glowing circles and glowing lines in it. For her monstrous form, I don't know, I couldn't really decide if she should look like a snake or a cat or a dog. So I kind of ended up in like this kind of, yeah, kind of looking like a goblin almost when she does Limit Break. This is my redesign of Volaire. I felt like the first one just looked a bit too serious. So this is me kind of try to design a more kind of cheeky, kind of more of like a chancer, somebody who is a skater as well. Because he's a skater, I decided to give him this center parting kind of hair, and I eventually landed on these slightly weird sideburns. From here, I kind of just like played about with his face and really didn't know what to do with this beard situation for a while. And then I kind of carved his face in a weird way. So yeah, he's looking a little bit more sneaky. But I like this kind of character that's like kind of, you don't know if they're gonna betray you, maybe. I decided to go with green for his kind of color scheme because there wasn't any green yet. None of the characters have any green. He's got these green kind of big trousers and like this vest, which is inspired by the Shock Troopers' original outfit. And he wears his goggles, I think, when he fights, maybe. This background is like, it's supposed to be, you know, under the rotten pizza, we're like looking up at the destroyed plate in Midgar, and it's kind of overgrown. There's like trees growing on it, and there's like ivy trailing down. So my pitch for the story of this game is that Denzel and Marlene work for Sid and his company. There's like a new planet that has been kind of discovered that's not too far away, that is like this water planet. And Sid is like, I want to go to the water planet because it seems habitable and there is probably life there. This becomes Sid's new mission, basically, is to create a rocket that will go to Mare, which is the name of this planet. Denzel and Marlene, along with Volaire, I think the three of them are kind of helping out Sid by searching Midgar for scrap material in order to make this rocket. Fortunately, Palmer, who was in charge of Shinra's Space and Aeronautics Division, has died. Unfortunately, Scarlet, who was in charge of their Weapons Division, is alive and also wants to go to Mare. So they're kind of in a space race. Scarlet's based in Junon as well, and Junon is like kind of not a good place. That's what's going on with those two. In the meantime, there's like a church that has been set up around Aerith, and it is kind of a cult. I think that this cult would be led by Oates, who is in Final Fantasy VII Remake, because Oates is obsessed with Aerith. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but he, in my sequel, has set up this cult, which is a little bit strange because their whole vibe is, we need to return to the way of the ancients. Marlene and Denzel are exploring the abandoned Midgar, looking for materials for Sid, and they come across this big orb underground, under the Shinra building, and they're like, what the hell is this? And they basically open it, and there's this mysterious girl inside, and it becomes clear that this girl is an alien from Mare, this planet. So they kind of take her back to like the guys. They take her back to like Tifa, and like, I don't know where Cloud is. I don't think Cloud is in this game. It just doesn't feel right to have Cloud in this game because I think he would be absent doing his own thing. This cult that has sprung up around Aerith, they really hate this girl because they're like, she's an alien. You know who else was an alien? Genova. This girl is just Genova reborn. It becomes Denzel and Marlene's journey to find a home for this girl. That's the pitch for the game. Thank you for listening to this incredibly unhinged rambling. It's really been fun to revisit this idea that I had, you know, like 18 years ago. Thanks for watching Character Corner. Goodbye!